morning, BookTube, and welcome to a Saturday weekend reading vlog. I'm fixing breakfast, so I thought I would show you what I'm having along with a book I finished this morning. So I started my morning by reading Nothing's Fair in 5th grade by Barth DeClement. This is for middle grade March, and I picked this book up because it's an Apple paperback that I always pick this up when I see my little free libraries. And I liked the cover. It's like the girls' slumber party, and then bonus, it had the point system that I grew up using when I was in middle school. Each book was worth a certain amount of points, and then you took a quiz, and then you accumulated the points throughout the year, and then at the end you could use your points to get free toys or food or whatever. So that's why I picked this book up. And at first it was a little bit alarming because the very first chapter in big bold block letters is the fat blonde girl, which threw me off because I feel like nowadays you wouldn't see a title chapter title like that. But this book came out in 1981, so different not mindset, but different way of doing things, writing books, or thinking about people, like that. You don't exactly want to think about them as a description. You want to think about their character and things like that. But that being said, if you can ignore the fat shaming in here, because it's focused on Elsie, who she, due to depression, because she her family got divorced, and her younger sister was getting all the attention, and she's kind of pushed to the side and ignored that and her mom keeps telling her when she runs up to get attention that, oh, go eat a cookie, leave me alone, go eat, go in the kitchen, have a snack. And so she starts using that as a crutch and as a dependent on that to get her through these sad moments. And so she starts gaining weight. But she goes to a new school and meets all of these people here who at first make fun of her, but when they get to know her, they talk about how they don't even notice how big she is, and that why can't we see that at the beginning, and how nice she is and smart. And so I actually really liked the story, despite how the first glaring chapter header. I really enjoyed it. And I was looking through the other authors' work, and none of them are available on ebook. These are older books, but if I happen to stumble upon another one, I will give it a go. Okay, so as far as breakfast, I am going to be having Irish breakfast black tea by Trader Joe's. I recently got this from Trader Joe's, and I've never had Irish breakfast tea before buying this. I think I've had it for 5 or 6 days in a row now, and I really like it. It's like an English breakfast tea, but a little bit different flavor. I would say it's not as malty flavor as the English breakfast, but yes, liking that one. And I have it's boxed for $2 or $3, and it has 80 tea bags in there, so that's lots of tea for a good price. And then I'm having it in my winter mug. I love cardinals, and so a friend got this for me, and I just love it. It's actually snowing outside right now, but it's not the big flakes. It's the itty bitty flakes that are just melting on impact. So we'll have to see when I take Fable out for a walk if it's still snowing, and I'll see if I can capture some video of that. And then for breakfast, I'm gonna be having Pips Donuts. I went out yesterday, and I found actually there's one in Portland, but there's one in Beaverton, which is outside of Portland. And so I stopped by there. I didn't even know they had a second location. So I love these donuts. They are made to order, these little donuts, and they're just full of flavor. So I have their flavor of the month is passion fruit, and then there's a Nutella and sea salt, and a Nutella honey sea salt. These two are my favorites. I always get. And they also have chai tea, locally, they make it there, these tea concentrates that you can buy the bottle, or you can get the samplers or their individual teas. And I highly recommend checking out these donuts if you ever are in the area, because they are my absolute favorite donuts that I have tried. And I had some because I got a dozen, so I had some when I picked them up, because they were fresh, and I like because these aren't syrupy sweet like Krispy Kreme. I'm not a fan of that kind because they're overly sweet and they're sticky and messy. But these are just wonderful. So I'm gonna have this delicious breakfast, and I will talk to you when I read my next book, or I'll maybe do an hourly check-in. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll take you through my day. now around 9 o'clock, hence the bad lighting. But since I last spoke with you, I managed to do some errands out and about when there was like an hour and a half or so where it wasn't pouring down rain. So I wanted to take advantage of that. And Fable got to come along with me. And she got to eat one of her favorite treats, ice cream. She loves anything dairy, like ice cream, yogurt, cheese. She's all about it. So I wanted to share that with you because she's just so cute. And I came back and I had a quick nap because it's the weekend. So I wanted to catch up on some sleep, even though I don't really believe you can catch up on sleep from like the week. You know, it's just a day by day thing. But yeah, so just I wanted to just have a relaxing day. And so I dabbled with a couple of books. So one that I was dabbling in, let me see if I can share this with you because I have the camera, like my phone resting on my lap. But I flipped through some of the, this is For the Love of Lucy. It's a complete guide for collectors and fans. And now that I have read a little bit of this, if you can call it reading, I understand more. Like the first section had a lot of like the TV guides. I had no idea there was comic books, coloring books, all sorts of things. And so it's just it's much more. You just showing you different things you can get. There was paper dolls and like even showing you like the clothes cutouts for all of them. It's just all the different things that you can collect, like baby dolls and board games and pens and stickers. And so the author of this book has I think it said the world's largest Lucille Ball or I Love Lucy collection. So he is like the perfect person to write a book like this. And it's really making me want to watch I Love Lucy show. And so I'm thinking after I jump off of here, I'm going to do my nightly walk with Fable, and then I might end my night by watching some I Love Lucy because you can't go wrong with that. And then I switched over to a thriller. This is Polar Bear Dawn by Lyle Nicholson, and it says at the top, a Detective Bernadette Callahan mystery. This book I didn't really care for. The premise talking about, the Arctic, Canada, Alaska, a thriller, all of that is ticking all the boxes of what I want in a mystery thriller. But there was way too many characters and it was kind of hard to follow because there's so many characters and you're in the head of all of them. But then the mystery part of like the reason why the motivations behind all these characters and the killings and the different sides of things, everything by a third. For sure you know it all by halfway through the book, and so it just dragged from there on out. And so I don't know, I didn't enjoy it. I had such high hopes for it, but this was a miss for me. And the first book for March Mystery Madness, but I am for sure not giving up hope because, like I mentioned before, the mystery genre is one of my all-time favorites. So I am just gonna go full steam ahead with my next mystery pick. But that was, not all books can be winners. And then for middle grade March, I read. Let's see. It's the teacher book, but it has like a teacher's name on it. But I have like a fourth left on this one, and this is Pictures of Hollis Woods by Patricia Riley Giff. I see this author and this book all the time. I got it from a little free library, but I see it everywhere, and so it's been on my shelf for a while and like constantly kind of reminding me to read it. And I'm really enjoying it. It's flashing back and forth in time. Every couple chapters, you go back in her life. She is a foster child. Hollis is her name, and she's with the current family that she's with is with an older woman who seems to have like Alzheimer's or dementia, and she's forgetting things. But Hollis really likes where she's finally feels like she has a home, maybe, but because of her caretaker's memory problems, she knows this won't be a permanent house for her, and so she's just struggling to find a home. She's constantly talking about her previous homes where she thought, okay, maybe this will finally have a mom, dad, a brother, sister, what have you. And it's heartbreaking in a way, but very well told. And I have one other book by this author, Lily's Crossing, I think is the name. I was just looking at it earlier. There's Morning by this author. So I will give that one a go as well. That one, when I was reading the back of the book, I was talking about, it was like a historical fiction about like World War II, I believe, if I remember right. But this one is not that. This is like, a foster kids, journey. And yes, I'm looking forward to finishing this up tomorrow morning. I also read, I was like sometimes talking about all the books I read. I had about an hour left of Tom Lake by, oh, now I'm blanking on the author's name, Ann Patchett. And I've been reading that all throughout this week. And I'm not going to go into any detail really here. I'm just going to mention briefly that I finished that book while I was making dinner. I had pizza. I made pizza for dinner, and I was going to make like a veggie chicken pot pie, but I didn't have the energy to, make the dough and basically make a stew, as like the chicken mix. And so pizza is actually, funny enough, easier to do because the dough and all that takes no time at all. So I went with an old standby. So let me see here. So yeah, I finished the audiobook while I was cooking. And then I'll just like briefly mention that I read 30 pages of one of my mammoth picks, the New Yorker Book of Poems. This is interesting how it's, I guess, I don't know, like, I don't know if you can call this a poetry collection is put together, because instead of by author or by time period, it's alphabetized by the first letter of the poem, the title of the poem. So I am on the B's and the letter B, and I am this far into it. I am on page 60 of 800 and something. So I'm on track to read. My goal is at least 25 pages a day, and I'm really enjoying this. Again, some are hit or miss, but overall, they're pretty good. And a lot of poets that I know nothing about, I've never heard of before, and some that I have. Start reaching over here. This is just a black cover, but I am reading. Let's see here, the year's best science fiction edited by Gardner Dozois. This is from 2004, and I am on story number 4. It's a science fiction collection of short stories. The first story I really liked. It was by Pat Murphy. But then the other two short stories in here I didn't get along with so much. The second one is by, let me see here, Benjamin Rosenbaum. And the story had so many numbers in it. It was like 5 is a machine, and then 37, it was like 1 through 100, and each number represented something. I just didn't enjoy that. And then the David Moles story was the third one. And again, I'm mentioning names that I have never heard of before, and maybe you haven't either if you're not a sci-fi reader, because I'm not either. But I'm very, like I said, very, very little. But this came out in 2002, and at the beginning of each short story, it gives a brief introduction to the author. And so many, I don't know why I'm showing this to you, it's just a black cover, but so many of them where they're talking about how, they just started submitting short stories to the different magazines, the different sci-fi magazines, and they're like up and coming, or they have a debut coming out, or they have a couple books out, or they're well known, what have you. And so it's interesting for me, like I want to like dive into like the authors that I really like. I want to, now that we're well past 2002 or 2004, whenever this came out, it's like at least 20 years, and so I want to see all the works that they have since then. These like brand new authors, like do they have 10 books to their name now at this point? I don't know, but I'm curious to discover that. Okay, so yeah, that is the end of the vlog. Sorry I didn't get too many clips, but yeah, that's just the way it is. But I'm thinking it would be really nice to do like one vlog each week, not have to, because sometimes like the pressure of like filming a whole week is too much for me to take with work and all of that. But if I just hone in on just doing one day a week, that would be nice. So let me know if you would be interested in that, and I might go ahead and do that, but we'll see. But it's been really nice to chat with you throughout the day and share what I've been up to, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.